Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered, where no topic is off limits and everything gets real. Join us,
Ronisha,
Teresa,
Suzanne, as we dive into hot topics, share our wildest experiences, and bear our honest opinions and thoughts. Buckle up, because with us, it's always raw, always vibrant, and absolutely unfiltered. Welcome to another episode of Three Voices Unfiltered. My name is Suzanne.
I'm Ronisha.
I'm Teresa.
And we are your hosts today.
And every day.
And every day, yeah. We are going to discuss today something that you've kind of heard bits and pieces about throughout other episodes. And it's Ronisha's story. We've been promising you her story with her journey with brain cancer. And today we get to hear a little bit more about it as we celebrate her birthday. Yay! Celebrate her birthday with Ronisha.
It's her birthday.
Yeah. And we're grateful for all the blessings that God has given us to through health and peace and experiences. So I will turn it over to Ronisha and let her share.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm on the spot. So, 2020, the short version of this, I was diagnosed with brain cancer. The tumor was a glioblastoma. It was the size of an orange. And my symptoms were pretty, light symptoms. I had a headache, and a lot of people get headaches. So it wasn't anything unusual to just have a headache. But this headache just would never go away, which started to concern me. So going to the doctor, and this is what I have issues with doctors. They just kind of go through their little protocol sheet. They check their boxes and then they send you on their way. Mm-hmm. And that's what my doctor did. Oh, you're stressed. Oh, it's in the middle of COVID. Oh, you might have COVID. Oh, you might have the flu. You might, and we do all the testing and nothing comes back positive. And they just sent me home, take some medication and rest. So I did that for about 4 months until I literally one morning, and I believe it was the Holy Spirit that woke me up out of my sleep and told me to go to urgent care, which I did. I went to the urgent care, and it wasn't long before they realized there was something in my head. Like it took them 30 minutes after getting a CT scan. And this is the thing, after going to my primary care, and talking to her about it, my new doctor at the urgent care immediately said, we're giving you a CT scan.
And she didn't do anything. She just examined you and that was it.
That's it.
That is so weird, because to me, you would think that it would have been her to say, well, let's do some testing to see if there's anything, just to rule rule things out. Oh, wow.
And this is the funny thing, because I talked to my mom about it that week, and I said, should I get a CT scan, Mom? She was like, yes. Talk to your doctor about a CT scan. And I went in and asked my doctor for a CT scan, and she said, you don't need it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
She told me I didn't need it. Wow. So now 4 months later, as soon as I went to the urgent care, this doctor said, we're getting you a CT scan. Of course, something came back. It was something in my head. They didn't really know what it was at the time. I think they might have known. I don't think they wanted to tell me at that point.
Right.
I feel like they wanted to get more
information,
do more testing. But he could clearly see that something was in my head.
That wasn't supposed to be there.
That wasn't supposed to be there. But he didn't tell me that, nor did he show me the CT scan. So I went on by ambulance, which is funny because I thought I could just get in the car and my then husband take me to the hospital. And he was like, no, we're going to put you in an ambulance. So they literally put me in an ambulance. They turned on the ambulance lights. And they shot me over to this hospital. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And this is the funny thing about me. I was so calm. I'm like, why get upset? Let's just go through the things. No need to panic, think the worst. Let's just go through these things. So I'm actually in the ambulance talking to my nice little paramedic. He's telling me about COVID and having to homeschool his kids, and his wife and how hard it was. And I'm like, I don't want to ever do that. My kids are adults. I'm like, they're in college. So I don't even know what I would do if I had little kids at home. We're just having a conversation. I'm strapped in the bed.
Oh my goodness.
On the stretcher in the ambulance. He was a sweet guy. So we get there. Of course, they do more testing. I get this really very nonchalant doctor to come in and tell me what we're going to do. We're going to do an MRI. I'm like, okay, take me down there. I get my MRI, come back, and he comes back in after that, and he's just so no bedside manner. He's just straightforward.
Wow.
It's what I thought. You have a brain tumor, and I think it's a glioblastoma. I'm like, how do you know what it is? He was like, because I know. I've done this a lot for many years. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And you're going to get brain surgery. And this is where I'm like, no, what? I don't want brain surgery.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want it. Who wants their head cut?
Nobody.
I don't even like to cut my hair, let alone cut my head open.
Didn't you say you just got your hair braided?
I just had braids. I just got my hair braided. And I'm like, I don't want my braids being cut out. You know how many hours we sit to get our hair braided? Okay. I'm talking about hours. So I was like, no. I was just saying, no. He was like, in 3 days, you'll have this brain surgery.
So how did you feel like at that moment? Fear, like denial, confusion. Like, I just came in for a headache, and in 3 days now I need brain surgery.
It was denial for me. I'm like, no. Because I'm like, God, I'm literally just talking to God. Like, I'm in my hospital room. No one's in there with me. I'm like, God, I just had a grandchild. Like, my grandson now is 4. Trey J was just born. I haven't even seen him yet. So I'm like, I haven't even seen him. Like, I got kids that still need me. No. God, no, you got to do something because this cannot be happening. And that's how I'm talking to God. It's not like a formal prayer. It's just like straight up, God, no, this can't be happening. You got to step in. You got to do something because this can't happen.
Right.
I have to live. I got kids. I have a family. I'm needed. My kids need me. Okay, that dad don't do nothing.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, what? So I can't go
I feel
anywhere.
you though. I feel you with that part.
What? So that's how I was in the hospital. And I sat there for 3 days until my brain surgery. Of course, my family flew in, but I sat in the hospital primarily by myself for those 3 days, just this going over and over in my mind.
Wow. And COVID was happening right in the middle of all that.
COVID was happening, so everybody couldn't come into the room. My nurses became like my friends. I was talking to this nurse. She was going to do masks, and I was like, you should start a business. She's like, I want to do creative masks. I want to do like masks with prints, not these boring masks that we're wearing. I was like, you should do it. And I'm on Instagram showing her people who have started mask businesses. I'm like, start it. She's like, she was African. She's like, you are so positive. I'm like, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Considering what was happening.
Right.
She's like, considering what was going on. But that's what I did in the hospital. I talked to my nurses. Finally, when the day came.
Did you do any research on your...
I did. The first day I did research.
Okay.
I did. And I'm like, nope. I don't want to read.
Look at it.
I turned my phone down. I'm like, nope, not doing it. I mean, the research was bad. It was 1% survival rate.
Wow.
I joined some Facebook groups. I'm thinking maybe I can get some support. Bad idea. They were like, ooh, so gloomy and depressing. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't do that.
Have that negative energy.
And then they would have like a person who joined. Oh, they would be like, oh, so-and-so died yesterday. Oof. I'm like, nope, I can't do that. Because I was in all the glioblastoma groups, like for hope and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't do that. So I removed myself from those groups, and I just stayed off the internet, like searching and doing research. And soon I was in there having my brain surgery.
And how was that day?
Yeah, that day, I mean, I just put it in God's hands because I know during my conference, you ladies were there. I was just speaking his word over my life and just speaking his word before I went into the operating room. Literally, because of COVID, the folks they had working in the hospital, I don't even know if they had degrees or certifications. They were the youngest little kids pushing me down the hallway. I remember looking at them. I'm like, they could be my children. And they were like, hey, like bopping and beeping down the hallway with me. And they get me in the room and they're like trying to get me together. I'm like, this can't be happening.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what is this?
It's like a bad dream.
Yeah, because people weren't coming to work. I mean, they were trying to find people to help. That's why it took so long to get the surgery. It took so long to get in the hospital. And I'm like, God, but it's in your hands.
That's
whatever
right.
you allow, it's going to be. And I'm okay with whatever it is. And that's it. And I had the surgery and I was out. And, then the true work began.
Yes.
All the chemotherapy, the radiation, fighting with insurance companies. My insurance company did not approve my radiation.
Wow.
So they did not approve it. And we had to fight for them to approve the radiation.
That's insane. Like, you need radiation to live. Why would they not?
Yes, they would not approve it because it was a proton therapy. So basically, it hits that certain spot in your head and not, radiation goes through your entire body. And my doctor didn't want me to, have that type of radiation because they wanted me to try to live a normal life. So this proton therapy was very expensive. It just went to one part of my head, and not through my entire body, and they would not approve it. So my doctor just said, we're doing it. Doesn't matter. My radiation doctor, he was like, we're going to do it.
So you're doing chemo, radiation all at the same time?
At the same time.
Wow.
Doing chemo, radiation at the same time. And I did that. 33 radiation sessions, 2.5 years of chemotherapy, 2 brain surgeries. I went back in and had a second brain surgery 3 days before the end of the year in 2020.
Why did you have to have a second, Ronisha?
Because the first doctor didn't do anything. He literally just went in my head and biopsied the tumor and sewed me back up with that tumor in my head.
Wow.
So when they went back, they removed it?
Yes.
Okay.
When they went back the second time... So you're talking about maybe 5 weeks later, I was back.
Why didn't he remove it?
He did not remove it. And I couldn't get any straight answers.
Wow.
So avocation is huge.
Because you said it was the size of an orange.
So it wasn't long after I was discharged that I started having headaches again.
Because the tumor's still there.
The tumor was still there and no one would tell me that it was there.
Oh.
No one would say, yes, it's still there. I would ask, how much did he get out? You just talk to your new doctor. Like,
I'm confused.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give me a straight answer. Oh, you're going to start chemo. So.
Oh, maybe he was hoping it would shrink or something with chemo or radiation or whatever. But they needed to be upfront with you.
They needed to be upfront. They weren't. They were never. Yeah. They only got up front with me when I got a new doctor and we looked at it and I'm like, they only took a sliver of it. They just literally biopsied it.
Wow.
That's it.
But it's like I'm a huge, I feel that we need to be advocating ourselves hard in the hospital.
Yes.
And you have to advocate for yourself. And I feel that when, my husband had heart surgery and before that, there were situations where there was an incident when they thought he was having a heart attack when it was actually a pulmonary emboli. But I pushed. I'm like, he didn't have a heart attack. He just had surgery from the shoulder. I think, and you have to really push these doctors sometimes.
Yeah, you do. You know what I did? I hired a coach. I'm always going to hire a coach.
Yeah.
I found a brain cancer coach.
Oh, wow.
I was on the internet, and she had been through it. She had a glioblastoma. She was at her 10th year survival year.
Yeah.
And I reached out to her, and we got on a phone call, and she talked to me.
Wow.
And she was like, this is what's going to happen. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to tell your doctors. You have to advocate, speak up for yourself.
Speak up for yourself.
Tell them no. My first doctor wanted to put some radioactive seeds in my head that were just going to stay in my head.
Wow.
I was like, no. And another doctor, they wanted me to do a clinical trial. I said, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I want standard of care, and that's all I want. And standard of care is surgery, chemo, and radiation, and that's all I wanted. They were trying to experiment. She's like, they're going to try to put you in things just because they want to get the research. They want to use you as research.
Yes.
And I'm like, nope, I don't want to do that. So she was very, very helpful.
You weren't even, to me, I would think that you weren't even at that point because they had not tried the standard
Exactly.
care first.
Right.
Okay. Now, I can understand once you went through all the standard procedures and tests and
run out of
everything,
options or something.
There you go. Okay. And then... Okay, if something is not resolved, and that's anything, you guys, I'm talking about anything, then we can start talking about alternatives or different, options that are out there, right?
But he had already written me off and said that, go on a vacation, go enjoy the rest of your life. So he didn't feel like, in my opinion, standard of care was necessary. But let's just try some things.
Wow, but that's not what God says.
No,
I guess
exactly.
You're not going to try harder for your life than yourself. And sometimes, there's great doctors out there, but sometimes there are doctors that just, and in the middle of COVID, he was like, maybe I have bigger fish to fry. I don't know, which is a really bad attitude.
I never saw him again. He did the brain surgery, and I never saw him again. He wasn't even there for my follow-up appointment.
Oh,
this man just written me off. It's like another brain cancer person.
He needs a review
with stage 4 brain cancer. She's done.
Bad review.
He had his PA see me.
If I have a knee surgery or, you're fixing my thumb, I'm okay seeing your PA. But if I have brain surgery, you need to get back in here and talk to me.
I never saw that man again. I saw him one time.
That's terrible.
And that was it.
Shame on you, Doc.
I know his name.
Okay, so
too.
he was there he did the biopsy. We're going to call it the biopsy.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what
4
he
weeks
did.
later, he did the removal.
No.
Oh, so, okay, I see what you're saying. So you had another doctor.
No, I got rid of all those doctors.
I got
and
you.
I literally believe God sent me these new doctors.
Right.
The sweetest little lady became my new neuro-oncologist. And her name was Dr. Fink. And I'm like, I know she came from God because y'all know I love Prince.
Right.
And Prince had a Dr. Fink in his band. And when I heard her name, I'm like, oh my God, you're Dr. Fink. You're Dr. Fink. She was like, who is Dr. Fink? Other than me. And I told her the whole Prince stuff. And she's like, oh, I seen Prince once. She's like, but we're going back in. We're going back in.
Wow.
So that connection, that lighthearted moment just made me feel like, I know God sees me. He sees me. So, and she just really rode hard for me. We did so many different things. She put me on medication. Guess what? She actually put me on some sugar. It's something that they give patients that have diabetes. Metroform or Metaform?
Metformin.
Yep. What is it? Yep.
Metformin.
She put me on that because research shows that your sugar intake, tumors feed off.
Yes. Cancer.
Feeds off sugar.
I've heard that before.
She put me on metformin. She ordered this machine that I wore on my head that she did research, and it sends radioactive waves to my brain so that it makes the environment not conducive for cell cancer cell
to grow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she was like throwing out all the stops, and I'm like, okay. But of course, we went in for a second brain surgery. I had a new doctor, very young doctor. I think he was 32 or 33 years old.
That's young.
He's young. Well, he was so sweet. And he had done about 500 surgeries.
Wow.
At that age. And we went in the second time, and it was 6 hours. He took 6 hours. He said because the tumor it sticks. It sticks to everything. So you have to carefully, dissect it and pull it out piece by piece. And it was on a main artery in my head.
Whoa.
It was wrapped around my main artery.
Wow.
So he was like, how close do you want me to get? I'm like, get as close as you can.
Yes. Yeah.
He's like, because I don't want to nick you and you would have a stroke. I'm like, okay, well, get as close without doing that.
Right.
Because, the equipment is very sharp. And so he did it. So he got about, when we looked at the x-ray after the MRI after the surgery, from the first time to the second time, it was like night and day.
Wow.
Literally night and day.
Awesome.
Wow.
Then after that, we went straight and we start like radiating it, putting radiation on it, chemo. And but in the midst of that, I definitely know that God was with me. He was sending these great, compassionate people just to help me get through that tough time. After that first stint, the second set of doctors I had were just amazing. They did an amazing job educating me on what was going to happen. And of course, my faith was very high.
Yes.
I knew God could do anything. And I'm here, 4 years, almost 5 years. 5 years later.
I wish I could hit the applause. It's over there.
It is. That's right. We have an applause.
Yeah.
We can add the applause.
Yeah. But that's how God does, and all the time, all the while, I've heard, your story, a few times, and just all the while I'm just thinking about the Holy Spirit, and how He leads and guides us. Because Ronisha said, "No, Holy Spirit told your mouth to form these words, and said, no, we're not doing that. No, So." Yeah, and I love the part about advocacy. Yeah. And a lot of people maybe not know this, but there are patient advocates in hospitals, because I remember my son was in there. He was having some type of pancreatitis, issue or whatever, right? And so we were talking about tests and things like that, and I asked for one until the nurse came and talked to me, but they do have patient advocates. They do. Because everybody may not have that person available, to them. Everybody
to help person
or any type of support system. So just always know that as well. And even if you are an advocate for your loved ones, you still can talk to a patient advocate.
That's true.
A healthcare facility that will, walk you through it. But Ronisha, I love what you said about getting a coach. And I'm like, I would have never have thunk.
She loves coaching.
I would never have thunk it. I'm
going to get me a coach.
Wow.
I know her name. I can say her name. Oh my God. She follows me on Instagram. She had a glioblastoma. She went through all the things that I went through. They told her she would not have a child. She ended up getting married, having a little girl.
Oh.
They don't know everything.
They don't know.
They don't know. But then again, okay.
That's why it's called medical practice, right? Ruling things out, putting things together, trying to find out. Our bodies are very complicated.
That's right. Yeah.
And sometimes they're spot on. Other times it really just takes a lot of research.
Yeah. And on the flip side too, please do not be afraid to go to the doctor.
That's true. Yeah.
Go to the
Listen
doctor.
to your body.
That's right. Listen to your body.
Absolutely.
And, and I know sometimes it's like I'd rather not know, because it is scary to know you're feeling, if you're feeling a pain, you're having a headache. and it's just consistent, and then you're thinking the worst. Well, go and get it checked out.
Yes.
Because it could be something as simple as you're stressing out about this, you know, you need to this, that, and the other thing, whatever. But don't be afraid to go to the doctor and to get some things ruled out. And at least if you are a candidate for a stroke, if you're having headaches or whatever, preventive, early detection. The early detection is key.
And that's a good point, because I can't tell you how long this thing had been growing in my head.
I was going to ask you that, like, did they tell you how long or when it started? Oh, I mean, it was pretty big. So
it was pretty big.
I wonder if it was like aggressively growing quick, or had it been growing slowly to that point?
That type, they say it grows fast. But here's something I didn't mention. Some of the symptoms was I started like having blurriness in one of my eyes, my right eye. So I was like, okay, I'll go get glasses, I guess. And that's what I did. So I'm thinking that's when it was growing, because it was right here behind this eye. So I went and got glasses. That improved it. So I thought I was fine. Then the headaches came. So I don't know how long I had been dealing with it.
Yeah. And I understand you don't want to go to the doctor for every little ache and pain, get that. But when something is consistent, all right, go. And even if you go to the doctor and they say, like Ronisha went to the doctor and just brushed it off. If you're still feeling, you're not crazy, it's not phantom pain,
absolutely,
all right, or discomfort, get to the bottom of it, because if it's not this, it could be this. So you may have ruled out this. Okay, fine. All right. Well, then it's still happening. So what's going on?
My cousin, it's interesting because she woke up like you, like early one. She had been having some issues, and it was in the middle of the night, and she said, I got to go to the hospital. And it was kidney cancer.
Wow.
So she just, it was kind of like the same. You gotta get up. You gotta go, and they found that out. So I think I won't. It's like, I don't want to be like kooky or anything, but God can tell us things, or the Holy Spirit can lead us. Yeah. And sometimes we don't listen.
Ooh, I know.
What
if I hadn't?
Yeah, I want to sleep some more. Like,
because it was 4:30 in the morning on a Saturday.
I'm tired. Can I go at 10? Like,
right.
Yeah, we put stuff off, and we don't listen, and that can be applicable to anything. Even, I've learned through life that sometimes I felt like, hey, you need to call this friend, or you need to, and we don't, and then things happen, and then you're like, gosh, I should have called them, so we need to be aware of what our body and what God's telling us.
That's true. That's a good point, because I had another appointment that Monday. I could have just said, no, I'll just go to my daughter's appointment on Monday, because I had another one, because I called her again. I had literally called this woman all summer, from July until November, when I went in, just telling her what my symptoms were. Come in and get another shot. So she was giving me migraine shots.
That's
what she was doing, and I didn't have a migraine.
And that wasn't it.
That wasn't it, because a day later it was back. So I'm like, she's like, okay, we're just come in on Monday, and we'll see if we can get you an MRI. But
and it's not like you're looking for anything. You're not looking for it, but you still have the pain or the discomfort. Yes. It's just not something you're supposed to be having.
It was getting to the point I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't exercise. I don't like to exercise, but it was about to be the beginning of a new year. Yeah. So I wanted to start working out. I couldn't. My head was pounding. That's terrible. I noticed when I bent down, my head would burn. I'm like, that's weird. My head is burning. It felt like it was burning on the inside. If I bent down or picked anything up off the ground, I'm like, this is crazy. Ironically, though, after everything happened, she called me. She found out. In my chart, I don't know who told her. She was reading my chart. She called me relentlessly. Every single day. She's no longer practicing. I don't know.
Dr. Fink?
Not that. No, my primary care.
No,
Dr. Fink is great.
The one that didn't that just gave you shots.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's not practicing anymore. But she called me every day. She talked to my mom. She talked to me. I'm like, tell her stop calling me. I can't talk to her every day. She was very, sad that
she felt bad.
She felt
maybe
bad
for. Oh, okay.
She did. She felt
Okay.
bad that she misdiagnosed me.
Yeah.
Well, and then you know what? That's a learning experience
For her.
For her, definitely.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay.
And I understand. I get headaches, and I've been having. I battle cluster headaches and migraines, and I've been battling this for years. And I understand. Like when I started, they gave me some headache medication. But after like a couple of months, let's go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Let's just let's do an MRI or a CAT scan and find out what's going on. And if there's nothing, then we can keep with medication and stuff. But the point is that I want an MRI.
You have to.
You have to. And I did get an MRI, and everything is nothing as big as that. But the point is that if I didn't push, what if it was something? So you have to push a little bit respectfully, and sometimes you got to just really push and say, look, I want an MRI. And I would have been willing to pay out of pocket. I wouldn't have cared if my insurance paid, because living with headaches is terrible.
You can't do it.
You can't do anything.
I can't believe I did it for that long.
So how are you feeling now?
I feel great.
Great.
And I feel great. I still get MRIs. I get MRIs. It was every month.
Wow.
After my second surgery, every month for a year. Then it went to every other month. Then it went to every 3 months. Now I think I'm on every 6 months.
That's
I get
awesome.
An MRI. So I get one.
That's
coming
awesome.
up. Yep.
That's awesome.
And and I have all female. These doctors are amazing. All female doctors.
Nothing against males, we're just saying.
Yeah, but girl power. All women doctors, neuro-oncologists.
Wow.
All of my doctors are women.
I bet you that was a male-dominated field back in the day. Because,
but
that's
all my
awesome.
doctors are women. And I feel like I
women.
needed that because they're just nurturing and they're just affirming and all those things that I needed going through this.
That's awesome.
There was nobody other than my coach, who's a woman, that I can reach out to understand what was happening. This hadn't happened in my family before.
Yeah.
Nobody knew, what to do.
Yeah.
So...
Well,
thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
We've been promising it to you all, and I think it's important. And if there's people out there that have had a similar experience, maybe in the comments you can share with us. And if you have questions, could they ask you questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or your doctors and things like that?
Yeah.
Like if you want to ask about Ronisha's doctors, just drop it in the comments, and
they're still all practicing,
and we can give you that information if this is something that you're experiencing. And we're just so happy we get to celebrate another birthday with you.
Yeah, me too.
Yay! Well, anything else to close up?
I'll just say, like I've said before, anything traumatic that you experience, lean on God. Lean on God. He created us. He knows everything about us. He knows the ins and outs of us because we were created in His likeness. So I would just say, lean on Him.
Yes.
Let the Holy Spirit lead you in your decision making, because a lot of things are going to be thrown at you if you get a really challenging diagnosis like cancer. I mean, cancer is a hot topic. It's an expensive disease. So there's a lot of things involved, a lot of people involved. People going in and out of my hospital room. I couldn't even remember the folks I spoke with. They were calling me. I'm like, what is this, a cancer hotline? Like, what is going on? They just wanted to treat me. They wanted me to try this. So just lean on Him for everything.
Amen. That's right.
That's what I would say.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, Ronisha, for sharing.
You're welcome.
All
Thanks,
right.
ladies.
Bye.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye, guys.